Jai Swaminarayan. Let's read Loyā 13 of the Vachanāmrut. This passage is titled, Not Being Overcome by Adverse Circumstances. In the early morning of Magh Shaurvadhi the 10th, Samvat 1877, or the 30th of December 1820, Swami Sri Sahajanandji Maharaj was sitting on a large decorated cot in Surag Hatshar's Darbar in Loyā. He had worn a red woolen dagli and a white case. He had tied a white veto around his head and had tied a bokani with another white veto. In addition to this, he had covered himself with a thick white cotton cloth. At that time, an assembly of Paramahansas, as well as devotees from various places, had gathered before him. Sriji Maharaj then told the senior Paramahansas to ask questions amongst themselves. Thereupon Gopalanand Swami asked Brahmanand Swami, what types of person is not overcome by adverse places, times, actions, company, etc., and what type of person is overcome? After all, it is said that even Brahma was infatuated upon seeing Saraswati, as was Shiv when he saw Mohini. So please answer carefully, because even such greats have been overcome by adverse circumstances. Brahmanand Swami attempted to answer, but could not give a satisfactory reply. So Sriji Maharaj explained, person who has withdrawn their nadis and prans, their currents of energy, and by way of their nirvikalp state that we discussed in the last passage, remains at the holy feet of the divine, would not be overcome by adverse places, times, company, etc., even if they were an insignificant being. In fact, if Brahma and the other devas behave in this manner, they would also not be overcome. However, if they have not developed such a state, and instead behave as though they were the body, then average beings as well as greats, such as Brahma and the other devas, would be overcome. If this were not so, then the meaning of the verse from the Srimad Bhagavat, 3rd Canto, 31st chapter, 37th verse, Tat Shrishta Shrishta Shrishteshu Gunva Khandita Dhihi Puman Rushim Narayanam Rute Yoshin Mayeha Mayaya, which means, of the progeny of Brahma, i.e. Marichi, etc., and their progeny, i.e. Kashyap, etc., and their progeny, i.e. humans and devas, whose mind in this world, besides that of Narayan Rishi, can be distinguished as being unaffected by the Maya, i.e. the alluring charm of those whom they'd be attracted to. If this were not so, then the meaning of this verse would not hold true. Therefore, God alone is not overcome by those influences, while all others, however great they may be, if they are not engrossed in the holy feet of God, would be overcome. Those who do remain engrossed are not overcome. This is a universal principle that I have firmly established within myself. Moreover, it is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavat, this time in the 1st Canto, 11th chapter, 38th verse. Etad ishanam ishasya prakrtishtopi dadgunaihi na yujyate sadatmashtayar yatha bhurishtad ashraya, which means, just as a person's buddhi, i.e. the knowledge of God is not affected by the traits of the body, such as birth, death, age, illness, ignorance, etc. Similarly, God, who pervades Prakriti, nature, and its creation, is forever unaffected by their influences and the influences of the Atmas, the souls, the beings. This is the prowess of God. Krishna Bhagwan has also said in the 14th verse of the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Daivi yesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite, which means my maya, material existence, which I have created and is composed of the 3 gunas, qualities, is indeed difficult to transcend. But those who take refuge in me alone can transcend that maya. Thus, only God remains unaffected by maya, and one who has realized God through a nirvikalpa state is also not overcome by maya. On the other hand, someone who has realized God through a savikalpa state, however great they may be, would still be overcome. Thereafter, Nityanand Swami asked, Maharaj, as long as a mukta, a liberated being, is associated with the gunas, the qualities of material existence, they are affected by places, times, etc. It is accepted, however, that God is not influenced by places, times, etc., even while they remain within the gunas. But when all of the muktas are free from the association of the gunas, and having become nirgun, without qualities themselves, dwell in Akshardham along with God, who dwells there in the same manner, then all of the muktas are nirgun and composed of chaitanya, pure awareness, also explained by Mama Sadharmyam Agataha, from the 2nd verse of the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. They have attained qualities similar to those of God. How then should we understand the distinction between the muktas, the liberated beings, and God? Sriji Maharaj answered, Look at the moon and the stars. Isn't there a difference between the two? They are not similar in terms of brightness, and there is a vast difference between the intensity of their rays as well. All of the herbs are nourished by the moon, but not by the stars. Also, it is the moon that dispels the darkness of the night, not the stars. God and the muktas differ in the same way. Also, a king and his servant are both the same in that they are both humans, yet the authority, power, beauty, and charm of the king are far superior. His servant, regardless of how great they may be, cannot achieve what the king can achieve. In the same way, Purushottam Narayan is the all-doer, the cause of all, the controller of all. He is extremely attractive, extremely radiant, and extremely powerful. Also, he possesses the Kartum, Akartum, and Anyatha Kartum powers. If he wishes, he can eclipse all of the muktas of Akshardham by his own divine light and prevail alone. Also, if he wishes, he can accept the bhakti, the loving devotion of the muktas, and reside with them. He can eclipse even Akshar in the form of the Akshardham in which he dwells, and preside alone independently. If he so chooses, he is capable of supporting the countless muktas by his own power, without even needing Akshardham. For example, King Prithu had told Prithvi, I can kill you with the arrow from my bow and still be able to support the whole world by my powers. Likewise, through his powers, God reigns as supreme. He who equates, or one who equates God with Akshar and all the other Muktas should be regarded as evil-minded and a grave sinner. One should avoid even looking at them. In fact, merely looking at such a person is as sinful as committing the 5 grave sins. So there is room for understanding that a distinction can be made between liberated beings and the source of liberation itself. Of course, by considering their association with the divine, it is acceptable to endow greatness upon anyone. Brahma, the creator, Shiv, the destroyer, Narada, the Devarishi, the Sanakadik, and Uddhav, great saints, all can be called God because of their association with God. At present, even the sadhu, like Muktanand Swami, can be considered to be like God because of his association with God. Without God, however, even Akshar cannot be called God, let alone anyone else. In fact, the Ved Stuti prose, Aparimita Durshvastanu Bhrutto Yadi Sarvagatastarhi Na Shasya Deti Niyamo Dhruva Nidaradha. From the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavat, 87th chapter, 30th verse, which states, O steadfast God, if the embodied jivas, souls, which are innumerable and eternal, are believed to be all-pervasive, then they would not be governable. But not believing them as such, i.e. all-pervasive, would not cause any discrepancies. So in fact, the Vedstuti prose reflects the same truth. If this were not so, then why would we, despite regarding ourselves to be Brahmarup, of the form of the divine, and distinct from the body, and possessing Gyan, knowing wisdom, Vairagya, material dispassion, etc., try to please the divine by staying up day and night, clapping, singing devotional songs, and chanting his holy name tirelessly? Why would we engage in spiritual discourses day and night and encourage others to do so as well? Why would we make so much effort if we could become like God? Hence, only God is like God. No one can become like him. The Vedic verse, Ekam eva vidiyam Brahma, from the 6th canto, 2nd chapter, 1st verse of the Chandogya Upanishad, also explains that God alone is like God. This is the principle of all of the scriptures. In this manner, Sriji Maharaj addressed the devotees for their benefit, when in reality he himself is Purushottam Narayan. So, thank you for listening. That has been the 13th passage from Loyā of the Vachanāmrut. Jai Swaminarayan.